Yeah, the 90s. We listened to Prodigy as we were on Prodigy as our opening chat rooms. It's the Bennington Show. I'm Ron Bennington. There's Gail Bennington.
Yo.
And I am Ron Bennington.
Again?
Mm-hmm.
You're a fire starter.
Oh, fucking fire starter. All right. Does anybody remember what record label that these guys were on? Because it was very shocking at the time. They were on Madonna's record label.
Really?
And I think it might have been called Maverick, named after, one of the great flight pilots of all time, but I'm not sure. But yeah, that, a lot of people go, oh, Nine Inch Nails wasn't really an influence on music. They weren't? Because
No.
ever hear a lot of these bands?
It was a tough choice, but I decided since we're living in a PC world not to play Smack My Bitch Up.
Well,
I just didn't think it would go over well with
for
the
me,
audience.
that song is timeless. And I don't know if it's a PC world, but it is a PC Richards.
And Sons.
Yeah.
And I'm in Sons.
And me too, Daddy. The Sons of PC Richards. I'm a fire starter. Look at my crazy sweater. Yeah.
That's like a very nice sweater for someone who's...
Well, it's chilly
so
around
edgy.
the fire at night. I always thought of it as, a late autumn band.
Yeah. I mean, if you're hanging out in the sewers...
And I am.
Starting fires.
Fire. All these fires are here. Sweater time. It's sweater time.
Hey.
You just, what are you playing, a drill back there? What is... Take. I'm a fire starter. Look at this sweater in the sewer. Eek. Did you find out it was Maverick?
It was Maverick, yep.
And it was Madonna's label?
It was Madonna's label.
Okay, so,
You did it.
not only Chris Stanley is not the only ones who just has fun facts.
Yeah.
All right?
You have some fun facts of your own.
I have the most fun facts.
Really? Because you didn't have one this morning.
Do you have
Not a single.
any Prodigy fun facts?
They're coming, don't worry.
Ew.
Go ahead.
Fun fact, in Smack My Bitch Up, the subject of the film
I see you reading it. You're reading
is
it.
a woman.
Who turned out to be a real bitch. A pure bitch. But we were noticing in here, Chris is the man behind the glass today, and Gail said, look, you never see him moving to a song, but he had this little shake going.
He was really like
yeah.
a fire starter.
Yeah. It's kind of like a wallflower thing. He was up, like the quiet guy against the wall who's just doing his shake along with everyone else.
Yeah.
He's not going to fucking get in the pit and try and love someone.
No, it's very rare that I see him enjoying the opening song.
Now, Joey Jojo is just full-time air drummer.
Yeah.
Oh,
Nothing
yeah.
else.
Only air drums all day, every day.
Yeah. He's always that man behind the glass.
But I'm starting to learn air bass, though.
Well, I'm right now I'm playing Air Bud. And I don't know. It's really, there's parts of that movie that really you want to be careful around the children. They'll start sobbing. You ever take your kid to a movie and then they just killed the puppy's mom.
Okay, so this isn't going to be fun.
It'll get funny again, but you're still going to be crying, honey. Hey, Brian, Chicago.
Hey, buddies.
Yeah.
I just love the Prodigy. Just want to say there's a really funny video of this German comedian. I don't remember her name, but I've seen a bunch of clips on YouTube. It's really good. And she has this daughter who's 4 or 5. She can't sleep, asks her mom to sing her a song to go to bed. Then she just starts belting out Firestarter, and to do the beat is slamming on the table. Such a good song.
Well, yeah, you know what? You don't know what you can put children to sleep to,
Oh, yeah. I mean, you never know what's going to work.
I like to lay them in front of slasher movies. Shh. Go to bed. Enjoy this. These bitches are going to get what's coming to them. Good night, honey. What? Make sure there's no stabbing in here, right?
I don't want to close my eyes.
Kids, kids are what they are. There's nothing you can do about it. No, don't bother. Don't bother, Joe. I don't want to fucking see some visual thing.
German,
I'm
Joe.
doing this. There is actually a very funny video up that we'll play a couple minutes of. No, that's far too much. We'll play a couple seconds of. If meat eaters were like vegans, but it really, like, there's a fucking premise that was just sitting around for decades and no one fucking picked up on. And the second that I'm watching it, I'm like, oh, this is funny, and fuck. How come none of my people came up with this bit? We'll just listen for a second.
That salad's totally grossing me out. I've completely lost my appetite.
If meat eaters acted
How long
like
have you been a
vegans.
meat eater for? I only eat meat. I'm going to the Meat Stock Flesh Festival. Are you going? Yeah, I want the tofu spring rolls, except I don't eat tofu, so do you have like a tofu flavored chicken you can substitute in for me? It's not that vegetable eaters are bad people, it's just that they're terrible people. This sausage is a meat-based vegetable substitute for cucumber. It's got the taste and the texture of an actual cucumber, with none of the cucumber. Eating plants makes your body way too alkaline, which will definitely kill you. Do you really want that? All you need is some meat to be healthy and thrive. You get everything you need from meat. Beef is loaded with carbs. Orcas are even more spiritually evolved than humans, and they only eat seal meat. So that means humans should only eat meat, because it's the most spiritually evolved diet, because of orcas. Plants give off oxygen. Why would you eat them? Do you even know how dangerous deer are when you're driving your car? If you don't kill and eat deer first, you basically want people to get into car accidents. The world's
Seriously,
a much
this
safer
is-
place if we eat the
Now you hit
animals that
pause.
could eat us.
This thing is
Broccoli?
so fucking locked in that it's unbelievable.
It's so ridiculously accurate.
I know. I didn't realize it, but vegans don't talk about anything else but being
No.
vegans.
There's two types of people that are like that. Vegans do that, and then also the people who are really into exercise. Not just they exercise, but like it's a lifestyle for them.
Right.
And so they want to talk. You can kind of feel them shoehorning exercise into every conversation. You're talking about something completely.
There are people that in show business that they're vegans, right? And if they had Daniel Day-Lewis come on, they would immediately start asking him about what he eats.
Right.
And you're like, it's fucking Daniel Day-Lewis, right? Why are you talking about 80% salad?
Yeah, you're like, at the very least, are you interested in cutting out dairy? It's like, what?
No.
I
That's
feel
the last
great.
thing I'd cut out.
I feel great. And you're just like, he's got a fucking movie coming out. It only happens every 5 years. But yeah, if you watch the Kelly show, almost across the board when Michael and Kelly, they would just start asking people about their diet, their workouts. Just
It's-
constant workout talk.
Now, I have a friend who, and God love him if he's listening. I'm sorry, but he got really healthy. He got really fit, and he started running. And he has an app. He has a running app that tracks his running. And then what he does is he shares a screen cap of that every day on Instagram, just to say, like, I ran 6 miles today.
Right.
I ran 11 miles. It's like his time, his progress. And this is all he talks about. He used to be a funny guy. He used to be fun.
And it's gone now.
He used to be a blast.
It's gone. I'll give you another group like this. And I would love to be friends with them, but it's too much. Hikers are just talking about hiking
They do, yeah.
all the time.
Mhm.
I'm a guy. I like a walk in the woods.
Yeah, sure.
I get it.
When I found out that hiking was walking in the woods, I was like, oh, this is something I can do.
Right.
Yeah, I get it. This is beautiful. But I like the way that they talk about it.
It's constant.
I thought that I was missing out on some sort of
Well, you find out that
aspect of
some
hiking.
people hike wrong. And you're like, what? Why are we still talking about your fucking knapsack or whatever the hell it is?
And I live near Prospect Park, and there are people who go to Prospect Park in full, like, hiking gear.
bullshit.
I'm
Yeah,
not
yeah.
even kidding you. And I know that they probably hike, other places, but they want to show off so badly that they have like a water bottle that like
Oh, yeah,
attaches
yeah, yeah.
to their hip with like a little like hose that goes to their mouth, and it's just like, yeah, you can see a
gotta
building
stay
where you
hydrated.
can buy water right there, like a little canteen, and they're
It's
hitting
Sunday.
it.
Have a fucking Coke. 844 Rock God. 844 Rock God. Some of this is just about well-meaning people who drive you fucking crazy, and that's why this media. I mean, I get it. I'm sure vegan is the best way to be,
I think so too.
but there's got to be a better way of talking about it.
I would like to aspire to be vegan. I think there's something really great about it. I'm not sure I could do it.
You know, this was my
But-
first Blue Apron week that I did 3 vegetarian meals.
You
and
did?
It was not based on anything other than these look delicious.
Right.
And they were all great. But I don't think I've ever had a week where I did 3 of my meals. So maybe I'm
That's
on my way then.
Yeah.
And whoever comes in. Who's doing the show today, Chris?
Mr. Josh Gad.
The great Josh Gad. I'll just start asking him about what his workout is. Matter of fact, he was on the Kelly show today, and they talked to him about workouts.
Really?
Yeah, and his ability to stretch.
Oh my goodness. That's all they like to talk
So
about.
they talk about it a lot. Dave, Rochester, what's up, Dave?
Hey, what's up, guys? I got one for you. My wife and I, we're very normal, but we do CrossFit. It's 1 hour out of our day, but we have people at our gym that if you don't eat paleo, if you drink, that's all they talk about. They're annoying, and Ron, this is going to kill you. We go out and we'll get hoagies, no bread. We'll get their hoagies wrapped in a lettuce wrap instead of bread. It kills me every time.
CrossFitters. I remember in the last election, they were shoehorning Paul Ryan into, and it looked like he had to talk about CrossFit all the time.
That's a straight up cult. And once you join CrossFit, like you lose all the rest of your friends and you just have CrossFit friends.
That's the problem with having an interest. I'll tell you, and this happens to me all the time with cigars. If I'm around a cigar smoker, they want to talk about cigars. I'm like, I'm just smoking a fucking cigar.
That's what I think is interesting about. Like, there's no problem with being vegan. There's no problem with exercising every day. It's the need to talk about it and to then push
Constantly.
that lifestyle on with guilt to say, why are you not living this way?
It was better when only the born again people acted like that. But now it doesn't matter what you're into. Kurt, South Carolina.
Hey, Ron, I can't stand myself because I've been sober for 11 months now, and whenever I go into a social situation, everybody, hey, still not drinking? Yeah, I'm still not drinking. And that's all anybody wants to talk to me about, and that's all I feel like I talk about whenever I'm around people who are drinking, and it monopolizes anybody's good time. I feel like I ruin things.
There is a large thing about talking about not drinking by people who don't drink and then people who do. For some reason, when you don't drink, you annoy a lot of people who do drink.
Yeah.
Because they feel like it's a judgment. But then I spend time with sober people, and like maybe you'll go out and they'll be like, in the old days, I'd be having like 5 beers by now. But right now, all I have is, and you're like, I know, dude, there's other fucking things besides us not drinking right now.
But I have a friend who got sober, and he claims that multiple people that he knew even treated it like, hey, when you start drinking it, let me know, and we'll go out and get a drink. And he was like, oh, yeah, it's not like a diet. Like, I'm just like not drinking anymore.
Right.
And they were like, okay, you think that'll last a while? And he's like, yeah, that's the plan. I'm hoping for it to last. Like, just treating it like it's like a quick phase of cutting drinking out.
Yeah, so when you don't drink, drinkers are annoying, and then non-drinkers are also annoying. I think what we're getting to here is that human beings are incredibly
God,
annoying.
They're annoying. They have all these interests and preferences.
Here is Aaron in Kentucky.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention the people that rescue animals and then try to make everybody else feel like shit for not rescuing an animal.
All right. Gail, I don't know if I knew. I'm sure the rescue thing has been around, but until you got Birdie, I didn't know. And now if you get any other kind of dog than a rescue dog, you're a bad person.
Yeah, I know this to be a fact. I don't push this on people, but I do know that there is a level of guilt. People I know who bought puppies who were like, little designer breeds, or they got them in a pet store, and they're treated like shit. They're like,
Right.
Wearing fur.
and they say that
that's fur. That's a really good point.
but they say that people would just ask them, and he's a rescue, and they're like, no.
It's cost $2,000.
I'll admit this. When you got Birdie, I got a little sway on it, though. I'd be like, yeah, we got a rescue dog in our family. Even though I did nothing, I watched it a couple times a year. The dog was rescued from basically the jaws of death by our family. We did something wonderful. The whole family did really.
We're very proud of ourselves.
Yes. We are, I guess, good people, I think is the term for us. Like good, sensitive, thinking people.
Yeah, and then there's also a rescue center in my neighborhood. So people will just say like, and she's from the rescue. Like like all the dogs in the neighborhood are from the same place. So I can't imagine if Birdie was not from there, like the way people would probably just look at you like you're a piece of shit.
Jen in PA.
Hi, guys.
Yeah.
I think it's so annoying. My husband and I tried for 8 years to get pregnant. I am a mom of twins, but that's all that anyone ever wanted to talk about. Oh, you're pregnant? There's twins in there? There's 2? Oh, you're huge? Yeah.
I would want to just come over and, without even knowing you, start to touch your belly. And
I would let you.
yeah. Now, it's an all-encompassing thing of, we're pregnant, that becomes 100% of everybody's time and stuff. And then we have small children. So then only your friends now have small children.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's fucking psycho. It's psycho.
And then you can't relate to, like, immediately afterwards, someone becomes like as a parent. I mean, me coming from this as a parent.
Well, when you were little, we went through this where he would take you somewhere, and then the parents would all be there, and then the other parents would say, we should do something. And you're like, what?
We have nothing in common.
Yeah. First of all, you don't want to fucking hang out with me. I'm telling you right now.
Just because both of our kids like the Ninja Turtles.
Yeah,
doesn't
they're
mean
running
we're
around like
have...
fucking morons. You know what I mean? Like, first of all, I could replace your kid with any kid, because kids just want to play with kids. There's nothing about the personality of your child. Like
He's
a stranger kid would be just as fine. Here's Rick, California.
Hi guys.
Yeah.
There's nothing more annoying than a wine snob. They are I'm in the wine industry in Central California, and after the movie Sideways came out, it changed the world here. Paul Giamatti said one line in the movie. He said, "I'm not drinking any fucking Merlot." And the next day, people were bulldozing their Merlot fields and planting Pinot Noir.
And they even said in the movie, they're like, no, there's nothing wrong with Merlot. We just wanted to, have this line.
Like, and then he has a preference about Merlot.
Yeah, I mean, but if you watch that film, he's a dick. I mean, he doesn't even make wine. He's a fucking alcoholic. And for real, he's not a guy who enjoys wine. I mean, he grabbed that fucking bucket of spit and shoved it in his throat. And people going, oh my God, I love it. But to me, if you want to look at that area, Bottle Shock is the fucking wine porn. And it's 10 times more beautifully shot than Sideways. But Sideways, it's like people watched the movie and didn't get a thing out of it.
I think it's funny how the emphasis that is put on wine descriptions when they're just taste. Most of it is personal taste. And I worked in a restaurant and actually had a wine rep come in and she was describing this wine and she was so serious and she was like, wet, sweat, leather, barnyard, fruit, earth. And I'm like, it's going to taste like wine to me. Is it a wine I like? Is it a wine I don't like?
You should have been like this. Winey juice.
So grapey? Kind of like an old grape.
Or you just start going, oh, the buzz is finally hitting me. This is what? Our fifth?
Yeah.
So probably within 3 more, I'll be right in the pocket. No one.
What do you think of the nose on this? Oh, I don't care. I'm nearly drunk.
I'm about 4/10 drunk right now. Just 4/10. You know, and a little horny. I would definitely fuck a stranger after drinking this wine. Diego, Utah. Diego, we got you, buddy?
So, I want to talk about some cyclists because out here, I mean, I'm sure everywhere, but out here in Salt Lake City, like, I don't get the idea when everybody has to wear the really tight clothing and those teardrop helmets, because how much of a difference in speed is that really going to make?
I know. If you're in a race, do it.
Yeah, definitely.
But if you were just taking a ride...
Yeah, again,
I don't know why you need this.
Prospect Park is like everybody is in those little costumes, and I had a boss who dressed this way, and like I should mention, like he also was not like that in shape, so it makes it a little funnier.
Unless you're in phenomenal shape, it doesn't work.
Yeah, so then he would come to work, and he was like in full gear, the exact like that skin tight, like aerodynamic material, the teardrop helmet. It's like, come on, dude. You just rode like a couple blocks. Like I know you live close.
I worked at a place where a guy had bike shorts on every day, and there was a complaint to HR about being able to see his balls and cock. And when it was brought up, I found myself defending him because that's like saying something like, we don't want to see her big tits jiggling around here.
Right.
You couldn't do, you know what I mean? Like you literally would have to say, look, these are bike pants. There's no place for the cock and balls to go.
They're pressing out of that thing.
But you know that there's women that there's nothing we can do with their tits. We're just going to have to act like we don't see them.
There's nothing you can do. No amount of material will hide them.
But there was anger from the women, and then we had to bring back righteous anger the other way. But we were, you know... I just wrote down who it was for Gail. And by the way, he didn't ride a bike in. Ted in Providence. Ted.
Hey, guys. One thing that it's something that I am, and all the other people who are just irritate the piss out of me, is an atheist. Like, for me, it's kind of it was like a passive thing, because it's like they say, like, do you believe in God? And I kind of went, no. And that was the end of it. But everyone else wants to really sit down and, like, talk about how stupid believers are and when did you have your aha moment. And I'm just like, I don't know. I mean, ugh. And believers get really, really pissed off. Like, I have nothing invested in being an atheist, and they want to, like, have a debate with me like I am Richard Dawkins.
Something happened where atheists went from being the kind of cool intellectual people to the mocking trolls, you know? And they want to tell people that their dead parents don't exist anymore. You know what I mean? Like, I get that religion has done a lot of fucking bad things, but if something helps someone get through a day and they're not bothering another person with it.
Also,
you know?
Then you're also like kind of trying to participate in changing someone's mind and indoctrinating them in a different way. It's just a different way to do it. It's just a different belief system. And that way it becomes like a religion. If you feel the need to say, why don't you believe what I believe?
Our friend Quinn just wrote in, and this is a very New York City thing, and we've seen it happen on this show, but the group of people whose new personality is, I've seen Hamilton, and I have zero interest in seeing Hamilton.
I don't have $700 to see it.
Well, someone actually brought up to me that I could afford it, you know, and I'm like, I don't care. that I can afford it. You know what I mean? That still doesn't mean I want to burn money on something I don't care about.
Don't go.
You can afford a diamond ring, but you're not wearing one.
I'm not wearing a pinky ring right now. I don't have a gold rope around my neck. But that is a very funny thing. And Larry David was on Mike Lupica's show. It showed up in the Daily News today, saying that this is just white people acting like they saw it, they're evolved, you know.
Right.
It's a white liberal thing.
He's
Act
right.
like I'm such a good person. I went to Hamilton and it really touched me. I saw fucking songs from Hamilton. I think it stinks.
Here's the thing. It's very difficult. And this is the problem with theater, and more specifically Broadway theater, is you're always going to be kind of preaching to the choir because only a specific type of person can afford that ticket and want to go see that type of play.
Yeah, but now it used to be an elite thing. I mean, it's always been an elite thing to go to a Broadway play, which becomes people on vacation who have money to spend. You know, like a lot of people will only see magic when they go to, fucking Vegas, because they go there, they got 3 Gs. Better not gamble it all away. You know what I mean? Better hit some restaurants and, you know.
But I like the idea of somebody going to Vegas, seeing a magic show, and be like, honey, when we get back, let's look into what other magic shows or local magic shows that are out there. Just really want to get into being an audience member at a magic show.
I know a couple, they're no longer together, and they would go to Vegas and say, we're seeing 6 magic shows, 2 a day for 3 days. And I'm like, why? And then they were like, we love magic. And they would then they showed me pictures of them with the magicians that, you know, if you buy the VIP thing, you get to meet them after the show or whatever. And I'm just like, okay, I understand that adulthood starts to do weird shit to you, you know, because these were like rock and roll people when they were younger, and now they go to magic shows very heavily. Here is Brian in Maryland. Brian.
Hey guys.
Yeah.
I'm out jogging.
He's jogging.
I'll tell you all about it.
Jog on, brother. And don't think about all the young joggers who died.
Your pace sounds great.
By the way, this is not a bicycle town. I watched a bike yesterday pounding on the hood of a cab as they were going by and screaming at each other. It's just not. It has to stop.
Yeah, we are not built for it. I love that that Portlandia sketch.
Yeah.
The character's like, bikers' rights! Like,
I know.
those guys are the fucking worst.
Literally, that's not even parody.
It's not. It's not. That dude exists.
Now, I saw this, and we're up to this figure now, and it shocked me. I just saw this on a trivia game yesterday or 2 days ago. What percentage of Americans now ride their bikes to work? And I'm shocked how high we've got. Chris, you go first.
It can't be more than like 6%.
6%. Joe.
Gonna go 20%.
20% of Americans all over the country.
Yes.
I was going to say like 1 to 2%.
It's less than 1%.
Oh.
It's still, after all this shit. But here's the fucking funny thing to me. I think now 0% of children ride their bikes to school, when that used to be the thing to do.
Yeah, you would never.
But now you're like, oh my God, I could never send my child out on a bicycle.
I'm one of those people. I bike every day here.
Yeah, we know by your backwards fucking thing. And you think that 20% of New Yorkers are riding in? You got to know.
Yeah.
I see a lot of them on the
There's not
trailway.
even 20% of the people in this room.
By the way, that's not a trailway. That's the fucking sidewalk.
Yeah. I call it the green path.
It's not. I lived in a town that had, like, they took the old railway, right, that wasn't being used anymore, like freight trains, and they turned it into a 6-mile bike path. Fucking great.
Yeah.
But to drive down Central Avenue, don't do it. That's stupid. Drive to the path, ride it, enjoy it. Maybe you'll fall and skin your knee. That's the worst that'll happen. But don't get hit by a fucking truck.
It's funny. I just remembered that this is the people who have bikes in the city or in the outer boroughs. A lot of people ride bikes in Brooklyn. And I was talking about trying to get to one of the like harder to get to beaches that are farther out. I think it was Reese Beach, which like it doesn't really have a lot of public transportation that could get you there. And I'm trying to figure it out. And someone's like, just ride your bike. Just like,
yeah, just ride your bike.
Just ride your bike. And I was like, why are you saying that? You just keep saying that. And he's like, just take your bike. It's like good 20 minutes. And I was like, I don't have a bike.
Take
and he was like,
day.
what?
Ride the bike.
Why don't you have a bike?
Slap a chef.
I don't have a bike. I just don't have one.
Why do they have that accent? The bike
He
rider
just
accent.
did. Just ride your bike. It's just, I don't know why you can't just get on your bike. It's going to be like just 20-minute bike ride. It's beautiful.
It's a bike.
Just get on your bike.
Get on your bike.
And then I said, a bike is a toy. Okay?
I agree. I think seeing an adult on a bike is like seeing an adult playing jacks. It's fucking crazy.
It's not that I don't want a bike. I just don't have a bike.
Bike is a toy.
Okay? I'm not a child.
You
I'll
got to
play
do
with
that for
toys.
Weird Al today.
Every town hall.
Yeah, we've got a town hall with Weird Al later. He's going to play songs and then ask questions. Joey, you should ask a question today.
I can do that. Yeah.
Absolutely.
What would you ask?
I would ask him about his writing process.
Oh my God, is that dull?
And how he if he shoehorns lyrics. Because sometimes, with certain information, I find myself avoiding that.
You shoehorn
What
lyrics.
are his tactics to avoid that?
Well, we're not trying to bore the man to death. We're trying to get him to enjoy his day here. Weird Al still has the same hair from the actually late 70s. And it's kind of fun because I don't know if his hair has ever been in style during the entire time that he's had it. He just missed when you could have hair like that. Here is David, Tennessee.
Hey, Ronnie. Potheads nowadays are just snobbish. When I was growing up, if it was green, you bought it. If it was brown, you didn't. Now, if it don't get your body high or purple kush and all this stuff, they act like it's not even
I am doubting very much that any marijuana goes to a certain part of the body. I don't think that there's good bladder marijuana or good knee arthritis
This does
marijuana.
wonders for the genitals.
Yes.
This is
I
a
think
genital
there's
high.
just a nice fucking high that you get.
They swear that does that. I haven't noticed.
Is there any scientific proof?
I haven't
Now,
seen any.
Here's something I saw a thing yesterday. So I think we've all agreed that marijuana is fine, and it does have some medicinal purposes.
Mm-hmm.
We now there's studies that depression can be truly helped by eating mushrooms. I didn't hear anything about peyote, but shrooms. This is up on the iBank today. Shrooms can help clear out depression.
It's interesting because I recently was talking to someone who claims that going through a hard time got into mushrooms as a kind of like a spiritual journey. It's not like an everyday thing. I mean, I guess I don't doubt it because any type of self-medicating has can have an effect.
You use the right word here. If the spiritual thing, if depression is a spiritual disease, which again, the atheist will be fucking annoyed, but I'm not talking about the spirit outside you. I'm talking about your own personal spirit.
Yeah.
If you can do shrooms and find magic in the world, that's great. I would say you can find magic in the world being sober. You can turn around and fucking truly look at nature. And you don't have to be in the Grand Canyon to do that. You could be anywhere to go, holy fuck, the world is nuts. There's so much shit. If you ever go out and, because I did this before, when, you're at a pond by yourself, and I remember thinking, man, I'm absolutely alone here and can't see. It was, one of those things I couldn't see anybody anywhere. And then it got real quiet. And then the amount of life that I suddenly became aware of that I was just like things crawling, things flying, things swimming. I'm like, this is as fucking busy as Manhattan. This fucking pond is moving like Manhattan, but I'm ignoring it on a regular basis.
Right. And that sometimes when you feel alone, you're completely far from it. It's just like this perspective that you have when you kind of turn down the volume on something else.
Yeah. And truly, that's the kind of spiritual thing I think gets to us through depression and or addiction and or, any of that kind of shit. But I get why terminology fucking, turns people off. I try not to talk about a journey or a path with everyone because those words have been fucking destroyed.
Right. I'm doing a thing. Just, you know what? I'm doing a thing.
It's a fucking thing that I do for myself. That's it. Speaking of which, the Doug Stanhope Unmasked is pretty intense. Everybody that I talked to afterwards said they had never heard him talk this way. I don't want to give too much away about it. And actually, I was kind of shook from it last night. I couldn't get it out of my mind last night. But he's written a book about his mom committing suicide and what that was like leading up to it, before and after, as well as all the funny, crazy party stories in his life. And it's really an interesting topic, especially for me, because it's one that I've been thinking about for a lot of years. Very few people talk about someone at the end of their life deciding, look, I don't want to hang around 3 more weeks in pain. Let's just do this now and get out without all the pain. There's so many people against that decision. And I find it kind of barbaric to be against that decision. I thought that, but the topic for him was still very raw because he had just written this book, and he just started to go out and deal with it. I know that we had kind of been at this before, and I brought up Barry Crimmins with him. Is like, you want to tell this story, but you don't want to go back there every single time that you tell it.
Yeah.
And you could see that he was back there while he was telling it. Anyway, this weekend, Doug Stanhope, who's one of the, most talked about comedians today, Unmasked, Friday, we'll play it at 2, and then all weekend long. Here's Andy in Georgia.
Hey, Ron, I saw a documentary about a guy who had crushing, paralyzing migraines, and they were so bad that he was contemplating suicide, and he read somewhere that if he would take mushrooms about every 6 weeks, that it would cure him of it, or it would keep it in abeyance. And he started doing it, and it worked. But in the documentary, they would show him, and the guy was just kind of like this, Texas square. And I'm watching the guy, and he's soaring through the clouds, and I'm like, hey, put on a little Grateful Dead, light a candle or something, dude. He was really kind of half flipping out the whole time, but it was just something he had to go through. He just didn't know the right way to go through it.
Yeah, some guys could use a co-pilot. That's the problem. Like when the military would give people acid, you're just like, you don't just want to lock them in some fucking room and say, look how you react on acid. Let's get outside.
Just a bright room.
Let's enjoy some Pink Floyd. Let's fucking trip balls with this. We got to ride the snake. We can't.
To the lake?
Yeah. You just can't act like I'm taking the snake by the neck and trying to choke it out.
The ancient lake.
Yeah. Wait, what's calling us? Is that a blue bus?
How?
The blue bus. Rick, Indiana.
Hey guys, this may be a little generational thing, but the photos on people's phones remind me of going to somebody's house and they would drop a huge photo album in your lap and want to tell you about every vacation they've ever been on. And you have to politely look through all their fucking pictures.
Man.
That annoys the shit out of me.
Yeah, I very rarely want to be in a thing where I'm looking at your pictures of a place that I don't want to go to.
Yeah, I think that it took me a while to adjust to the way social media was, like Instagram. And when I got one,
IG?
I was like, yeah, IG, the gram.
Insta?
Yeah, all of those. But I think that I had to step back and realize that I really was doing that annoying thing where I wasn't experiencing the thing that I was experiencing. So I would go on vacation. I would feel this like need to like document, and I was like putting them all on Instagram and like, look at this beautiful thing and this beautiful thing. And I was like, oh my God, if I really step back and realize like I wasn't in that moment. So I think that I had to like learn that the hard way, to be like, I completely gave myself over to this trend instead of thinking about the way I would have done things 6 months prior to this.
I'm going to just say this to the planet Earth. I'm sure that moon looks spectacular in real life, but you did not capture it with your phone. Right. That sunset that must be mind-blowing for you to take the picture is not fucking working for us. It just doesn't show up correctly.
Yeah. I'm most of the times when you take a picture, particularly if you're standing in awe of something in nature that's just amazing and you're like, all right, I'm going to take a picture of this. You never get that feeling of vastness or just how small it could make you feel.
No,
you're better off just experiencing.
The only thing that works is guys that will upload pictures of them banging their wife. I'm like, I get it.
Yeah.
Now I know why you married that gal.
Yeah.
That is something.
You've really given me perspective on this.
Beautiful.
Spantastic. This is up on the iBang today. I couldn't believe it. But LeBron's Nike deal is worth more than $1 billion, they're now saying.
What?
Now, let's think about that for a second. He doesn't make, design, store, transport the shoes. He's just LeBron.
So what you're saying, this is just his branding attached to a shoe.
A lifetime deal for him will be worth more than $1 million to call something LeBron shoes. Now, he's not near the star that Michael Jordan was. I have no idea what Michael Jordan is made off of his shoe deal. It has to be trillions.
Yeah, it has to be insane because he still is racking it in.
And the Air Jordan is the shoe. That's like the shoe of fucking all shoes, I guess.
Right, and the guy hasn't played in 15 years. Now, me, I'm still wearing Penny Hardaways.
Penny?
Yeah, because of Little Penny. Actually, Chris Rock was more famous as Little Penny than he was for being Chris Rock back then. But that's fucking crazy, right? Crazy.
That is so much money. So it's just going to be his name, his logo. He's really going to do.
It's already done it. This has been going on since he was 18. But over the course of his lifetime, it's going to be worth over $1 billion. That's the deal he has with Nike.
That's attaching.
This
his
isn't
name
a
to
new
the
deal.
Right.
This is just the continuation of what he's always done. It's worth more than $1 billion.
Now, that's going to be strange to step back and say, this is my life's work. However, this is the thing that I'll be remembered for. And this is the thing that my worth really comes from.
Yeah. And there is, it's got to be tough for him to think, what do I give a fuck what the fans in Cleveland think? I'm selling shoes to the whole world. A lot of this has to do with China, or the way I grew up calling them Red China, that they're incredible basketball fans. They're gigantic basketball fans.
Really?
They love Kobe. They love LeBron. They love Kobe most of all, though. They just dig basketball in a big, big way.
And they're really big on collectors' items too. Like that, isn't that like a big thing in most Asian countries that they get really into?
Well, you're stereotyping people, but I get where you're coming from with it. They do, they are very neat with stuff. But how would you like to be a football star and you can't, you're still going around opening up fucking Ikeas and shit like that. Hey, everybody, come out and meet me.
It's impossible to get any sort of deal going.
Bob in Illinois, I think he thinks he knows the Jordan deal. Go ahead, Bob.
Hey, how's it going? Yeah, I was just researching this the other day. I'm just south of Chicago here. I guess Jordan makes about $100 million a year off of it. Just Nike. I mean, that's...
Now, what do you think he actually does other than the name Michael Jordan is there? Because you don't see him going around like, hey, everybody, I'm so excited, in 3 months, the new shoe comes out. Like he isn't even that involved in it.
There's no commercials at all, either. He does commercials for Hanes.
I see him, in T-shirts, not shoes.
Yeah, why would he think he's got the $2 million a week shoe deal, and now he's saying to his agent, there's some underwear money I haven't even fucking touched yet. Now,
at that point, you're getting $100 million a year. Why are you doing anything? Like, why are you doing any other commercial?
Why are you doing anything but drugs? That's the only thing that you should be doing with your time.
I'm sorry, I can't do this underwear commercial. I have a lot of drugs to do this weekend.
Yeah. Speaking of which, when people get into something, crackheads, they just never stop talking about crack.
God,
Who's got it? Is he back yet?
Want that rock?
Like, isn't there anything more to your personality than crack?
I know you've told me 3 times you'd blow me for a rock, but I've got other stuff going on right now.
Take your dick out, though.
Talk to you, it's just crack.
I know,
crack.
and your lips are a little chapped that I don't even want them on my penis right now. I mean, there's no moisture in your mouth. Like putting my dick in a fucking little thing of Pop Rocks. It's terrible. Look, don't start crying. Don't take this the wrong way. It's no reflection of you. It's about the crack. Now, we brought up like Michael doing these underwear commercials. We're all adults now.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you think to yourself, I guess I'll get Hanes like Michael Jordan? I can see why a little kid would want to wear what Michael Jordan's wearing, but why was an adult?
But does any celebrity branding or them being associated with a product, does it ever work for an adult? Like in any circumstance? Like let's not even say, okay, Michael Jordan wears these shoes, I want to wear these shoes. But let's say Tina Fey uses
American Express.
Yeah, American Express.
Yeah.
Like, does any adult go, I love Tina Fey. I trust what she says. I don't think she would do this commercial if she didn't think that American Express was the best card out there.
I'll tell you this, I've turned around on Verizon since Ricky Gervais likes him so much.
Well, particularly when he's telling you how shit the other companies
The other guys are terrible. They're number 1 in Kansas. What? Really? I mean, you're saying that, but it has to work or these people wouldn't be paying the money. It must impact it somehow. It has to.
It has to because it's been going like this for so long.
Well, we know that you could take shit water that cost a few pennies, put a famous model or pop star's name on it, and girls and women will spray that shit water upon themselves.
I want to have the same shit water smell as her.
It smells like early morning turds. I mean, it must work, but it's bypassing what me driving along going, gonna get Hanes like Michael Jordan, get some Hanes today. Do you notice? I'm kind of carrying myself like Michael Jordan because of these new Hanes.
An MJ thing about you today.
But it must work. I mean, they market things and they know that when we have Michael Jordan, we make more money than when we don't have Michael Jordan.
And all corporations want to do is make money. So if this really didn't work, there's no way that they would continue doing it. No. And the second something stops making them money, they're like, what the fuck are we doing?
Right.
We need to do a different thing.
Well, I mean, you see that Hanes isn't going, we're going to go with Jeff Garland. It doesn't matter who's in the underwear. People need underwear.
That I actually might consider.
But underwear is a very funny thing that you don't, at least with men, you don't have people thinking about their underwear choices. You do it like, I need underwear. Now, this second.
Right.
That's when men buy underwear. Right. They don't sit around and think about it at all. It becomes an emergency situation. An underwear version of a root canal needs to take place. You've got to get underwear. Or you're commando.
What kind of hole-free underwear do you have?
Give me, I guess a case is, I guess the white kind. Is what I'm looking for.
Palette.
Here is Zach, South Carolina.
Hey guys, love the show. Wanted to add something about the celebrities selling us stuff we don't need. In psychology, there's a understanding called the halo effect. It's when people associate value with celebrities who have status. So it's kind of prying on the subconscious, I think's the idea.
Yeah, I mean, when people go, no one cares what politicians, what celebrities have to say about politics. I disagree with that 100% because it's always been around. And you could easily argue that no matter what you think of Donald Trump as a businessman, it's his celebrity first that gets people to pay attention to him. Because we have businessmen who have made more money and been more successful, made more money for other people. Ronald Reagan was a politician and a celebrity. You could probably make the case that Hillary Clinton is the Clinton brand, which has been around since 92. So I do think people either consciously or subconsciously pay attention to celebrities. Like, Chris, who is a celebrity that if they said something about Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton, you would at the very least look into it?
I like a Billy Bob Thornton, I think. I respect him enough.
I can't even. It's always back to Billy Bob Thornton. He's become a fucking one-note Johnny over there. Billy Bob, no matter what. Joey, do you have a celebrity that you think about that way?
Yeah, like authors Bret Easton Ellis, if he said something, I would be like,
what?
Yeah. I'd be like, I'll definitely check out what he says.
Have you read his books?
Yes, I have.
You get the darkness and the coldness and the disconnect?
Yeah. If he said something, I'd be like, I'm gonna look into that. It's probably kind of dark.
Yeah, but if I'm talking about picking a political person, I mean, I would be fascinated if I heard, I don't like an Eddie Vedder change and just go, I'm back at Trump this time. I mean, to me, that would be gigantic.
You'd be like, let me look into.
Like, I mean, here's a guy who sat around all these years on liberal causes, and now he's thinking Trump fits. Yeah, I think that would work to wake me up a little bit.
But it's hard to imagine, for me personally, anybody having enough sway. Like, maybe I could be interested and figure out why they felt this way. But I can't imagine me feeling a certain way about a politician and a celebrity, no matter how much I like them.
But do you realize that the value would just be you stopping to think about it for a moment? Like, really, commercials are not to make you buy, but to get that name of that brand in your fucking head. That's what they're doing.
Right.
You know, that's why the Coca-Cola marketing was so big, is so people would just think Coca-Cola.
But it's funny, like how he was saying that it's just like the status of the celebrity. So you're like, if that person's wealthy or that person's successful or that person's beautiful.
That person is somebody that you see as having integrity.
Right.
You know, because that also is has a huge value to it. Here's Jason in Detroit.
Hey, Ron.
Yeah.
A couple of years ago, Sports Illustrated did an article about how NASCAR, like when Dale Jr. Switched his main sponsorship to, I think it was actually Budweiser. Budweiser sales actually increased in areas where, in the South and the heavy NASCAR region even more. I mean, it's a lot with NASCAR, when guys switch sponsorships. Their devotion of their fans, I think they said, was like 80%. If your favorite driver is sponsored by like Home Depot, 80% of his fans will only go to Home Depot. It's that loyal.
My uncle was and is a big NASCAR fan, and he was telling me about this Daytona race, and he was bragging that his driver, their trailer of merch emptied out while the other guys still had all this stuff. He was thrilled to tell me that the merch was gone. And I didn't understand it, but I knew the Hooters guys, and they had a Hooters car, and their driver was killed in I think a helicopter accident or something. And they're like, we're not going to have a car anymore. The fucking fans were so mad they were throwing bricks through Hooters.
Oh my God.
Windows. Yeah, they were furious with them for dropping the thing because the guys on the crew would be out of work. So NASCAR is a great premise for that. They're starting to put those little things on basketball NBA shirts.
Yeah,
now.
did they say it was like the Sixers or the 76ers?
Sixers, yeah. The Sixers got the number one pick, and they are looking at a bow-legged duck that they believe if they draft could keep things going the same way it is now. The Sixers are putting something on their shirt. I forget what it is.
It's a big company.
StubHub. But it's a very small thing. Like, you couldn't read it.
Right.
I mean, maybe if you were Garden, one of the guys, you could look over and go, oh, StubHub.
Oh, I got to look into this.
I saw, StubHub is one of those products. I hate them until I love them. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm on vacation and there's a show or a sporting event, I use StubHub. Never use them in the city.
Yeah.
Hate them in the city.
I'm not sure. Like, I think there are a couple things that you have to get through them, and maybe I've done it that way.
Well, anything that sells out.
Yeah.
Anything that sells out, and they sell out because normally StubHub and those type of things get it. But I never use them for Yankee tickets, but when we were in Chicago, I used them for Cubs tickets. It's very hypocritical. I saw that Louis is doing his tour, and he's only selling stuff through his website. Not all places. A lot of times, if you go to a certain place, you'd have to use, I guess, Ticketmaster or whatever, is the big ticketing thing. But Louis is doing $50 tickets and wants to only work theaters. Now, it's easier to do when you're one single guy traveling around like that.
Yeah.
If you're,
if you have a huge crew or a lot of.
Well, if you're in a band, there's only X amount of places that you could play. Let's suppose you're Bon Jovi. You're looking for, 15,000, 12,000 seats. How many places have that in any given city? Pearl Jam tried it once by playing in fucking, parking lots of old horse tracks. It didn't fucking work out. They had to come crawling back. Sorry, Ticketmaster. You really are my master. Brian in Asbury Park.
Hey guys, I've worked for a sneaker brand for a long time, and it used to be, all of our sponsorship marketing dollars were tied up with athletes because it was more aspirational, and it's dramatically shifted where we still do a lot of that, but there's a lot more money spent on celebrity endorsements and even like kids with 20,000 Instagram followers, and we do get a payback from that. So it's only happened in the last 10 years that it's shifted like that dramatically.
I know. Didn't Kevin Hart just sign a big shoe deal with Nike? That's why Kevin goes around and runs with people before his shows and stuff like that.
Everybody, not everybody, but every one of those guys is tied to somebody, and it might not be obvious. And it might only there's contracts that will be for 2 months just so we show up on a celebrity's Twitter and stuff.
Well, I know, like Jen Selter, you never know that if she's drinking something or using an equipment, she's got a deal.
Right. The Kardashians have that. And they've got, what was the thing that they got in trouble for? Because I think it was maybe a medication or some type of drug that they put out. And they said, look, this is still advertising.
Oxycontin. They were just eating it.
Try Oxycontin.
We crush it and snort it. Oxycontin. It's fun to crush and snort. Oxycontin.
Look into this.
See, I could work on
good jingle for Oxycontin.
Yeah, I could work on Madison Avenue. Oxycontin gets you high. Oxycontin. Sometimes you OD.
Okay, good. That's snappy. I like it.
Yeah.
But it also gets the message across.
And the message is we want to make some money.
We want to make them coins and that paper.
Now, I say that, we're sitting around talking about this. We're going to do 3 Tito's live reads today, a Lakeview, and a Simply Safe. People say they pay more attention when it's a live read than when it's a commercial.
I wonder why that is.
Well, because it sounds more like the program.
Right.
If it falsifies the sense that you're still listening to the program. These are 3 products we absolutely believe in.
100%.
I want to be simply safe while I'm drinking Tito's on my way to Lakeview. That's so hard to understand, folks. Get behind it. Not that kid with the 20,000 followers. See, now you see why people want followers. Somebody's gotta increase my followers.
I got I need my followers so people see I have followers.
Yeah. Chris, you never have had an account, have you?
No Instagram, no Twitter.
Now, by the way,
real life guy.
I know that we were saying IG and the gram. What if we just started calling Instagram Graham Parker and the Rumor? Is that a problem?
I'm ready to jump on the Graham Parker.
You know, let's shorten it from Instagram to Graham Parker and the Rumor. I hope I'm saying and remembering that correctly. I do want all my followers to know that I'm voting for Donald T. Trump.
And I hope you'll follow me.
Did you watch him and Megyn Kelly last night?
I didn't.
It was actually, I thought that his thing was just okay, but the guy who got OJ off, trying to think of his name right now. Is it Robert? He was the lead counsel. That was fucking fascinating.
Cochran.
No,
not
the lead
Cochran.
guy.
Robert
Stop being a
Kardashian?
fucking. Robert Kardashian
Oh,
is
yeah.
dead, Chris.
Oh, shit.
How am I going to sit around and watch that? Oh, you know what? It was the greatest show ever. I found out there is an afterlife, and they're still talking about OJ.
Shapiro.
Yeah, Robert Shapiro. This is always funny to me. People do not understand the job of a lawyer. Most people think that if you're a defense lawyer, you should decide that your client is guilty and then work to have them put in jail instead of defending them. But people are like, do you still think he's innocent? And you're like, well, it's not up to that guy to decide
not
if
his
he's
job.
innocent.
They
He's
always
to defend that person.
they always wanted to be like the scene, like you're not gonna get him because I'm gonna get him.
I'm no longer a lawyer because everything I did went against the oath. Legally, I myself am wrong. But he made the case of he thought the defense fucked up by acting like it's only one person who killed. He floated it that there were two people involved.
Really?
And meaning that one was OJ. You know what I mean? It would either have to be, well, look, it's just AC. Who else is it going to be?
Cato, I mean, could have been part of this thing.
I doubt it because I can't see Cato doing anything.
I also just don't see him taking it to the grave on that.
He's too much of a talker.
Yeah.
He'd be like, me and OJ had a good plan. What? Good plan? That's all I'm saying. And I'm making a stabbing motion when I say plan. But that could have been Cato's little gloves.
Oh yeah, maybe those were his tiny gloves.
If I was Cato, I'd actually would have dressed like Cato from the Green Hornet. That would have been, But, I mean, it's all right
When you
there
took the
for
stand?
you. Yeah. When I came up on the stand. And then I would just start fucking chopping and cutting. And what's the town hall going on before our town hall?
That is the Neighbors 2 town hall.
Seth Rogen?
And Zac Efron.
Did you? We'll have to go down and see Pretty Boys Zac Efron that all the girls love.
Ladies love.
Has that started yet?
Should be starting right around now.
Right around now.
Yes.
Funk Soul
brother, right, check it out now.
How about when Chris thought Robert Kardashian was on TV last night?
Robert Kardashian was back.
Ron, you were thinking of Robert Kardashian.
Is the afterlife scary? No.
I just got an update.
Yeah.
Town hall's going on right now.
All right. Well, why don't we break and go? But by the way, if you ever want to see something funny, I love the Green Hornet with Seth Rogen. Did you guys ever see it?
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah, it's fun.
People hate it.
People don't know shit.
It's Michelle Gondry directed it.
I've never seen it.
There you go. That's why it's a fucking flop.
Christoph Waltz, he's fucking great in it.
Okay, we're not just going to sit around and read the IMDb page, Chris.
So what?
Just
Chris?
want to make sure
I've
everyone
seen
knows.
things too.
Christoph Waltz in that film.
He's fucking great. His blood Palsky.
Also, the editor was.
The sound design.
All right,
come
we
on,
got
guys.
It, Joe.
Come on.
I mean, you don't add to it.
What's
You
Joe
fucking
doing?
Tag on to it.
What's Joe doing? Nothing.
Yeah. I would love it because Gail will start to do a voice, and I'm like, oh, she's getting close to that voice. And then these other two guys start doing the same voices. In improv, you want to be another character, not the same character who's already presented. That's fucking.
And I'm that guy too.
You would be someone for her to interact with.
Oh.
All right. We break coming up a little later on. Just Gad. At some point, we want to yell, "Ye Gads," as he comes into the room and say, "Glad to see you." And a lot more. Bennington. Hey, this is some cool news. The Wild West Comedy Festival is in Nashville, Tennessee. Now, tomorrow, May 19th at 10 p.m. at night, Bill Burr is going to be there, and in conversation with the co-creator of F is for Family, Michael Price. So those two guys are sitting around just having a conversation at Third Man Records. Tomorrow night, 10 o'clock. Here's the cool news. We've got 3 pairs of tickets to give away to this show. So give us a call, and we'll give out some tickets off the air. 844-ROCK-GOD. 844-ROCK-GOD. Your opportunity to go and see the hottest comedian in America, Bill Burr, talking with the co-creator of his TV show, F is for Family, Third Man Records in Nashville. 844-ROCK-GOD.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, you got to be in the Nashville area, of course, to get it.
This does not include plane fare.
I'd jump on a plane myself, but that's me. I've done a couple unmasks with Bill Burr, and he's so goddamn fun. Well, I don't have to convince people that Bill Burr is funny.
We all agree he's funny.
And we're saying that as the planet Earth.
Yeah.
The planet Earth has decided that F is for family. It's also for fuck. No one ever brings that up. What are we doing making a fucking cut down for? All right, so off the air for those, if you want to go to this, 844-ROCK-GOD. 844-ROCK-GOD. 3 pair of tickets to see Bill Burr tomorrow night in Nashville, Third Man Records. I'm not even sure I know that place.
Third Man Records is Jack White's record store. It's really, really cool.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I only know it as Jack White's record store.
Yeah, it's like a venue there. It's really awesome. Third Man Records, inside looks really cool. Outside looks cool. It's awesome.
Well, I know that Nashville, if you say a record store there, people do concerts and shit. They're set up. All right, I'm looking at this. It's a great setup as a live performing place.
Wow, that's a great space.
No, it's fabulous. It's perfect to do this. All right, we'll take your request off the air. Third Man Records in Nashville, Tennessee, tomorrow night, May 19th, 10 o'clock. Bill Burr and the co-creators, F is for Family, Michael Price. That show is it's been renewed for a 2nd season.
That's nice.
That's what I'd like to be. I'd like to get my TV show renewed for a 2nd season.
First, we've got to worry about first season.
That's why I can't get it fucking renewed for a 2nd season.
Yeah, that's always the way it is. They're like, okay, how am I going to get something for the 2nd season if I haven't had it for the first?
All right, I got an idea for a TV show. It's hardworking dad. His wife nags. His children don't like him. But sometimes he sneaks a sandwich and eats it in the yard.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
That sounds really good.
Yeah.
Now, can I love what you're throwing at me here. But let me just think. What if one of the kids isn't a kid, teenage daughter, very sexy? Just throwing it out there. Just
All right.
And she's always there's always a new boy at the door.
Yeah.
And he's uncomfortable with it.
Sure. I just think everyone in the family should treat him like fucking shit.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that.
He should just be treated like a whore on the streets. By the way, I didn't know we had so many Nashville listeners just blowing up.
Yeah.
Make sure you take care of them.
Take care of them.
Hopefully Jack White's going to be there. Sure. Meg's going to be in the other room. Just smacking on a coffee can. Fucking freaking out. Bow now, burn out, bow, bow, bow now, 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 now. No, Gail, I haven't asked you about anything all day. What's going on in your mind? What's Gail thinking about?
Well, what's going on in Gail's world?
Yes, Gail's world.
I feel like I'm thinking of like maybe starting a new segment called Gail's World, and then we just like, what's going on in Gail's world?
I like that.
Yeah, I like it too. I like it
too.
I was waiting for
It could be a whole day that we're doing. Who gives a shit about this kid's world? That is on the same planet all of us.
Well, did you see that Kim Kardashian?
I know nothing about Kim Kardashian or the Kardashian tribe. I know her dad is a woman now.
Right. Well, and then her other dad is still alive, apparently.
Well, according to Chris Stanley.
There are rumors.
I wasn't fucking Robert Kardashian.
But she has won the first ever Break the Internet Webby Award.
And the internet doesn't break, right? I mean, that's a saying.
I think it's a thing of the past.
It slows down occasionally.
But not the whole internet, the site that you're going to.
Yes.
Right.
So don't just go and break the site. It's break the fucking site, not the internet. The internet's fine. All right, so Kim won the Break the Internet
Right,
award.
and this is for her famous bars over the titties and
Right.
vagina shot. And they are saying you have done the best job as doing the most, viral, most hits to your celebrity news.
Congratulations, darling. You deserve it.
You
I'm going to lift the fucking
have
glass.
done it. But it has me wondering, ladies and gentlemen, what celebrity could beat a Kim Kardashian nude for the biggest nude photo?
Michelle Obama.
Michelle Obama would
I would want to see if she was sitting there and just took a selfie. She met the Senate to the president, and it went out, and the fappening started. I would want to see that.
You wouldn't be able to help, even if it was a non-consensual sharing of the.
Well, it's the only way I want to see it is when it's not consensual.
That's why you don't like Kim.
No, don't like it.
She meant to show you
I wanted
these
to
her
see it
stars and
once
bars.
when she's hovered over a fucking nasty toilet like Coachella. All right, I actually had the idea for an app today. I was thinking about it, walking through Midtown, and what if there was an app where you were able to find out who was having sexual fantasies of you within 5 or 6 feet?
Okay, so this would it be anonymous? It's just like ping, ping, ping. Okay, someone's thinking.
No, let's say you were walking down and Chris Stanley started to have some of his nasty fucking thoughts that would ping. Now, he wouldn't set it off. You would have to be able to,
Right.
The app would work, I guess, using some kind of telepathy. That's the part. I mean, that's where most of my R&D money.
That's the tricky part is figuring out the science here.
I think it would be alarming on 2 levels. And by the way, your husband would also get alerted, no matter where he was, how many people were having sexual fantasies.
Damn it. This redirected to his app.
You are no longer going to the mall. But because I was watching dudes turning around, checking out a chick as she was watching by. It's always the funniest thing because some guys are very, I'm just spinning around.
Yeah.
And other dudes will just fucking turn
stop.
around and start touching themselves. I saw a guy hang out of a fucking car, right? And he's banging on the door and his fucking mouth is flopping. On what I would say, and I'm being reasonable here, a 6. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just a regular woman walking down the street. This dude was attempting to suck his own dick looking at it.
Now this is, and I know this won't be popular with everyone because it's a very heated issue about people who get upset by catcalling. People are like, it's just, this is a way of life. Shut up, bitch. I know people feel very strongly about it, but the people that I feel most like speaking to are the women who say, who are these girls who don't like catcalling? It makes me feel pretty. It's just like, stick around on a street corner and tell me if they're paying attention to exclusively attractive women.
Right.
They're not. This is not a fucking compliment. They literally would do this to your great aunt. They would do it to your mom. They would do it to your little sister who's 14.
Your special needs infant sister.
So it says so much more about you that you are putting value on this thing that is not that exceptional.
I got news for you, though. I mean, this PC thing today, am I right, guys?
Yeah. Am I right, guys?
I can't get away with the cat calls.
I mean, men used to be men, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, if I told you the thing we used to call Polish people, you'd probably throw up right now.
You didn't call them Polish?
Mm-mm. Oh, no. No, this was back in the early 90s.
But yeah, it is of no significance only because they're not only talking to attractive women. So don't feel great about yourselves, ladies. This is just something that they're doing.
Chris, did you run these names up to Jack?
Yes, they're being emailed right now.
Thank you to the people who got free tickets. Hope you enjoy yourself.
Enjoy.
But my app could work. But yeah, I think it's not so much the most beautiful person that you want to see. I am going to agree with what was said in Silence of the Lambs. We lust after what we see every day. Wait, I think it's Dr. Evil. I was Dr. Evil. But don't, you know what I mean? So I think right now it would be like a Michelle Obama. I think that's why people go crazy for the Chelsea Clinton when Chelsea Handler when she shows her tits, because everyone saw her on TV, and we feel like people on TV are our neighbors, and the people that we most would like to see naked are our neighbors.
Yeah, that's probably has more value to us,
right,
than anyone that already you could probably imagine naked anyway.
Well, Hustler. And there's no reason you young people should have ever even heard of Hustler. But back in my day, in the non-PC days, right, we had a magazine called Hustler. And that started, they took the old girl next door and turned it into Beaver Hunt. So what they wanted to do was take a woman that just looked like she came from a small town. She wasn't attractive. They didn't put any makeup on her. And they just had her sit spread eagle. And it was amazingly popular for them. It was better than if they could get celebrities. You know, Playboy would go out of their way to get a celebrity. And Beaver Hunt was just taking the girl next door and doing, I'm not going to say attempting to humiliate her, but put her up in an almost non-sexual way.
Right. Like,
You know?
that's what was sexual about it.
That's what was sexual about it, is that she didn't glam up.
And this could be just any woman you'd see at the grocery store.
Yeah. You could see her at a grocery store, Chris's case, a playground nearby.
No. Don't like children.
I've got an idea for something, too, called a Bieber Hunt, where we just make Justin Bieber sit with his legs wide open. By the way,
count me in.
We walked by and we got a good look at the town hall going on for Neighbors 2. And who's the young lady that's in the? We brought her up.
She's the same.
Rose or something.
Yes.
McGowan.
No,
Rose.
no, it's not Rose McGowan. That's
But why
not-
is he so fast?
He's so.
She's dead, Chris.
It's not Rose McGowan. Yeah, but she was in the Bridesmaids
Yeah.
and
Rose Byrne.
Thank you. And she's married to a very attractive guy too, right? It's a famous guy. Well, she is attractive, but that other kid, you see why he's a sex symbol?
Zac Efron. Yeah, he looked like a Ken doll.
Yeah, he did.
He looked like a Ken doll, and I'm saying that in a nice way. It's not a cut.
I thought he looked like a Kendall Jenner. That is.
Vito has told me repeatedly that if he could have any body, it would be Zac Efron's.
You mean sexually?
Vito, come in
Like
here.
any ideal body.
Today's the day, bitch. Today's the day.
You want to take a bite out of that ass, is what it is.
Oh, God, when he runs, it's so frightening. Vito, why did you talk about Zac Efron this way?
Have you seen the guy? He's
Yes,
in
we
such
went.
great
Did you
shape.
go down and see him?
Yeah, I went over and saw him.
Did you try to introduce yourself?
No, he was busy. He was in that fishbowl. I wish I could.
You should
meet
have
him.
walked right into the fishbowl and said, "Look, Mr. Efron, I have a bucket list, and you are number one." I think he would feel good about it. So why does he say this repeatedly to you?
Well, he says it like, if he could be in any shape, it would be equivalent to Zac Efron's.
Pull up a picture of him working out in the set of Baywatch.
All right.
The specifics he knows.
Yeah, because I'm always
creepy.
getting updates on my phone of this guy just doing pull-ups on the beach.
But can I? All right, you look at his body,
Holy
right?
God!
If you had nothing, but if that was only your job, you couldn't look like this. You've got to set your sights on a Tony Saragusa as your perfect shape to get into. You can't do this to yourself. This is impossible for you.
No, I was just saying if I could snap my fingers and look like one guy, it would be Zac Efron. He's charming. He's funny. He's got a great haircut. He's best friends with The Rock right now.
He can sing.
I wish you brought The Rock up every day.
Wish granted.
Yeah. That and fucking Sling Blade are the two names, no matter what the topic is. So I know I have a fucking team of just open-minded thinkers.
Wow.
You got to go back to Billy Bob Thornton on that again?
I'll be honest, I knew that Zac Efron was in shape, obviously, but I was unaware of the level. I mean, that's pretty intense.
Well, that is because he's doing a movie all about that. That's his job right now, to get in that kind of shape, not to be a great actor.
Right. That's him at work.
That's him. That is his work. And I mean, The Rock does that thing where he wakes up in the middle of the night, eats a fucking turkey and lifts weights, goes back to sleep. I mean, it's just abnormal. There's
Right.
no reason.
Why do you want to live this way?
Yeah. To look that
There's
way.
so many shows. There's so many shows to watch.
I guess I got to throw you back over there, Vito. He can't seem to keep up with the phones with you out of the room.
Bye, Vito. It's
So I
so
would
great
have loved,
to visit
I would have
with
loved
you.
to hear more.
Man, he really likes Zac Efron.
Yeah,
Okay.
I know. Every single day.
How about for you if you had to do it with one guy?
Oh, man. I guess Ryan Gosling. The gods, yeah?
By the way, I heard from my friend Leslie, who, Chris, if you don't book her on this show soon for summer movies, I'm going to have to start next stabbing. But Leslie said that
Intense punishment.
Nice Guys is fucking hilarious. She says it's so funny, and it's all about the guys. The guys bringing the laughter.
I believe that he could do it.
All about
Shows-
that guys. About that guys. No Russell.
Man, I was
What?
wondering when you were going to
Yeah.
fucking just tap out of it.
He's so weird. He's so weird.
Yeah, he's strange.
Such a weird thing to do.
Mm-mm. Guys are so fucking, I'm not going to say bisexual, I'm going to say pansexual.
Yeah.
But all the young guys are pansexual. They're attracted to guys as they are women, even if they don't act on it.
It's weird that the world is caught up that way. I mean, remember that report about the founders? This is like something like 60% of founders. So this is like teenage, under 22 years old say that they don't see themselves specific to liking only one gender. 60%.
Yeah. Gender
Like-
fluid.
This is not gender fluid, but like bisexual, interested in every
They
like.
want a little bit of everything. Yeah,
Yeah, they're
All flavors.
open
Pan.
to it.
It's pan.
So that's going to be like that. Those children are going to grow up, and that is going to be like the new feeling of the way society views sexuality. It's going to be very strange.
Somebody wrote this in that the kid who's going to play young Will Shakespeare on TNT is going to be the super sex symbol for young girls. And then they wrote, holy shit, as if they themselves were moved by it, which, I got a problem with that.
Let's see this.
Yes, the smallest picture that you can find. Well, that's just a headshot. I don't know.
Give me that bod.
I think he does look like a girl, so that always works for young girls.
That works. That works very well. Is it like a little dab of femininity, particularly when with the young ladies? They're like, he's so pretty.
He's a twink.
His name's Laurie Davison.
Just a dime a dozen twink.
All right, I love this.
Jelly.
I like this. Chris, you'll get a kick out of it.
Can't.
Remember that rap song that we just got with no Russell? Queen Elizabeth texted us. Excuse me, Joey Jojo. I love Russell Crowe. Watch your fucking mouth.
Thank you. Oh, fucking Joe.
You didn't realize that you were doing really edgy material there, Joe. You're gonna push people away.
All I know
slouch.
is that I haven't seen Gladiator in years, and it's all about that gods right now.
Why do you got to fucking run down
I don't know.
Russell Crowe when you know a lot of women?
He's the best.
I'm sorry, everybody. Same time as me. What is it, Chris?
Russell Crowe's the best.
Glad we got that out there. Now, you realize that you could say nice things about Gosling without acting like Russell Crowe is a piece of fucking garbage from Garbage Town.
You know that Gosling probably would not say anything bad about Russell
Loves
Crowe.
him. Loves Russell Crowe.
He treats him like a brother. Because they
So
are brothers.
Shut your fucking mouth.
And now you've upset the queen.
You just like those. Shut your fucking mouth.
Shut your stupid fucking mouth, Joe.
When speaking about celebrities none of us know.
Keep Russell's name out your mouth.
I like that, though. Hey, Craig. Craig in Connecticut.
Hi, guys. I think the next superstar on the Kardashian level will be Anna Nicole Smith's daughter. Her name
She's
is
just an infant.
Isn't she still a baby?
No way. There's a 2-page spread on her in W Magazine this month.
How old is she?
Oh, God, she's got to be 20, and she's...
No way.
They got her topless.
She was born when she was the baby that they fought over. She's got to be 10.
No way. She's grown up an adult. She's topless in this ad.
Is this true?
Happy birthday, Gigi. Guess Jeans. She's their spokesmodel since 1999. The next star is born, it says.
Okay.
But she can't. It can't be the baby that we're thinking of.
Google the images. It's the cross-eyed.
My guys can't even fucking move in here.
She has a 9-year-old, but she has an older daughter. I'm finding out the older daughter, but you're thinking about the 9-year-old.
Yeah.
Who's thinking? He's thinking, or we're thinking?
I only remember her. She had the son.
She had the son and then the baby, and they fought over the baby. The son died.
Yeah.
And then they fought over the baby after Nicole died.
She's all grown up, and she's super hot. She's the guest girl. She's just Google image her. She's Gigi. She's a guest model. So they got a 2-page spread on her from 19...
Joe, can you fucking find it instead of sitting there?
I think he's thinking of Gigi Hadid, who's not related to Anna Nicole Smith at all.
You're fucking crazy, Craig. All right, now, Craig.
What?
Realize what a bad fucking call you made.
Look at the 1999 picture of Gigi. I swear it looks like the Anna Nicole Smith.
But that's what you were going on. It just looks like her.
Do you know how many billions of people are on this planet?
Look, everyone got in trouble for not finding
Yes,
their daughter.
you know why? Because it's like the fire alarm went over and they just went by and started fucking fire hats and hoses instead of jumping on trucks. Craig, you gave the worst fucking call.
Wow.
The worst.
Sorry, guys.
You did not. It's not on the gold spin. I wish there's a way we could take a prize from you.
Take away my bad company ticket.
You know what?
No, I'm only kidding.
I'm going to cancel the show that night. That's how bad this is.
All right, I'm tapping out. Thanks, guys.
No, I'm calling right now to Bad Company. I got to first find out their phone number. Chris, call 411.
Got it.
Yeah. Tell them it's 411, but it's a 911 emergency.
And yes, we will pay the extra 25 cents to be directly connected.
Absolutely. Anna Nicole Smith's daughter.
And we're sitting there looking at each other like, there's no way she was just an infant.
Were you with us today at Hooters?
Yes.
So one day we're at Hooters and we're going to go there to watch a football game. It was when the Bucks were still fucking going for the championship. And Anna Nicole's entire family and maid and Howard K. Stern, they all come in together and they just start eating wings. And this is when their show was big, and not a single person seemed to recognize them but us.
No, and they were not really that interested in the game. They were just
they
there
had their
for
back
wings.
to the fucking game. And I mean, everyone went to Hooters because in the city before you could get all the games on fucking cable, right? You'd have to have a dish. Well, most of the fucking places in the city, they don't allow have individual dishes. Matter of fact, I was in Jersey not too long ago, and I was cracking up seeing dishes on houses for years. So everybody went to Hooters to watch all the fucking games, and they did not care. They didn't care at all.
They were not there for sport.
Want to hear something sad? 2 of them are dead.
I know. 2 of them. 2 of the 4 that were sitting there that day. Oh, that was so sad when that kid passed away.
Oh, boy, I couldn't deal with that. And then the way you knew she was dead from that point on.
Yeah. And then, if she would only know what happened to her youngest daughter, Gigi.
She's a guest now.
I mean, I was getting really offended that he was talking about a girl that I knew couldn't be more than 9 or 10.
He was like, they got her topless on Guess.
You see why Bad Company wants to cancel a tour? Because these New England people, these New England people are the worst. Here's our buddy John from Mass. Hey, John.
Hey, buddies. Great show.
It is.
I just want to say I'm ashamed that Craig's from Connecticut because I'm originally from Stamford, and I just want to say he does not represent the intelligence of all peoples there.
I didn't know that you were originally from Stamford.
Yeah, originally from Stamford, Connecticut, all the way up till 15 years ago.
I think that area is the last of the New York. When you get on the other side of that.
There's a little piece of it where it looks like a miniature New York City. If you blink your eyes, you're through it. But it's also, there's north, or it's got the country and the suburb side too. The same way, like you said, growing up with the, go get your older brother and sister, and a fight with same kind of neighborhoods, But all right, buddies, I'll let you go.
Good to talk to you, my friend. Glad you're doing well.
Peace.
You too. Good
Peace.
show, guys.
If we're doing old home, we got to say hi to Janice in Chicago. Hey, Janice.
Hey, how are you? I love John from Mass.
I know you do, honey. I know you do. You love your Cubbies too, don't you?
It's pretty funny, and even the White Sox are doing well.
I know. White Sox are, what, second place?
I think so. Wouldn't that be fun?
You know what? Break up those teams. I mean, it's a dynasty. It can't go on like this. Break up the Cubs.
When you were talking about the OJ trial.
I was.
Wasn't it great in baskets when they had from the OJ trial singing the national anthem, Kato Kato?
Yeah, he came out at the rodeo, was just singing. I know he knows he's making fun of himself, but he probably got $2,200. I'm like, fuck it, I'll do it. Have the kids come by and throw fucking popsicle sticks at me. I don't give a shit.
So great. Oh, and thank you, by the way, for the grinder.
It's gone now.
Oh, it's a shame because isn't it great?
Yeah. They kill all my shows, one after another. Everything I love, they take away from me.
Sorry.
That's why I like to yell at the Lord. People, places, and things. You just take them away from me, don't you? Don't you, Lord? Here's something great. Now you can't have it anymore. And here's something great. You can't have it anymore. It's like if I was a baby, you would just brush a nipple past my mouth and keep going.
Bullying is what it is.
It's a form of bullying. You don't just hit to be a bully, all right? There's verbal and psychological bullying and the bullying of not inviting everyone.
Yeah, everyone needs an invite.
Everyone should go to all the parties. This PC culture, you know what I mean, folks?
Yeah.
A buddy of mine's planning to buy an island when he wins the lottery.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what. You gotta buy Staten Island.
I'm not holding my breath.
Mm-mm. I saw that woman, though. She had won $400 million the other day. $400 million.
That's too many millions.
Yeah, not for her. She had a bunch of babies. She's going to be dividing it up in. Cool. If I won $500 million, I'd probably give Chris $250 a week for the, and then that's it. Anything more than that would kill him.
That's still nice, though.
I'll take it. I'm not complaining.
Then don't. But I'm going to give you cab fare.
Use that Lyft code.
Send me the Lyft on my Gmail.
Okay.
Instead of my, wait, I guess I could do it off my other thing. Now send it on the Gmail. No, you know what? I should be able to do it off the other. Forget about it.
You can also text, too.
Yeah, you texted to me the other day, and I forgot it though. I keep losing it in my text, but I definitely want to use it. Have you guys used your Lyft yet?
No, I haven't used it yet.
Free rides. Chris is getting it for you.
Come on. You want a free ride, right? You want to go someplace for free?
And
Use
for
Lyft code.
$50, right?
$50, yeah.
I'm gonna just get in a car and say drive until it's 50, and then I get out there. I want to see how long.
You're just like in Jersey. You're like, shit.
I want to see how far I can go on 50.
You're like, I hate Lyft. It cost me $50 to get back home.
Yeah. They'll probably only get you to about 34th Street. Hey, we had a shooting and a murder right down the street.
I know. I had heard was breaking
49th and
about
8th.
it. Yeah, very close to us. Very close.
Too close.
For comfort.
And they didn't even say why it happened or what went down?
No, I didn't hear anything, any information except for it was like someone with a knife, and then the cop shot the guy with the knife, and that's pretty much all I think.
You ever know, when's the last time that you heard of a serial killer? I just think that they don't tell us anymore.
Either that or it's just like out of fashion right now. It's not
How could
a fad.
that be? How could that be? That was a fad instead of insanity? It was just a fad that people were doing?
I think that like people were like, oh, is this a thing that you can do? You know, it's almost like a career path that they were suddenly.
You know how they had the hula hoop fad? It hasn't been around forever, and you'll run into people hula hooping.
True.
I still think there's some people out there. I think there's something called the radio producer killer, and they're just not telling people.
Right.
Boy.
I guess the last one would have been the last one I heard about.
I just want to tell Joe this. You would never have to worry if they were killing radio producers.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah. Believe me, there's not a fucking test in the world that you could pass and be called a radio producer.
I'm really happy.
Yeah.
Why?
Add on to that for the rest of us. I have to work with you every day. I think we need to break here. Josh Gad now or coming up later?
Coming up later.
Because I can't wait forever. You know how much I adore Josh Gad.
We're not going to wait forever. Just a little bit longer.
That thing that you do that. Janice, talk to you later, sweetie.
Okay, I love you guys.
Love you,
That's
Janice.
nice. Love is nice.
Bye.
You know, John Lennon said that love is the answer, and then they fucking shot him in front of his own house.
Mm.
So, I guess he was wrong about that one. He should have fucking dressed up as Iron Man every time he went to the recording studio. I mean, nobody can kill Iron Man, not in that fucking suit.
I mean, just from the video you guys showed me of his kill count, he's doing pretty well for himself.
How many did he kill? Over 7 people?
72,000 people.
That is over 7, technically. Right back, Josh Gad coming up. Bennington Show. Gail, did you see that E-Rock had brought his 2 nieces in to meet and greet with Zac Efron?
I did not see that. That is so sweet.
Yeah, they're adorable, too. They're 2 little cuties, and they wanted to come in. One of them said she wanted to meet Seth Rogen, but you know that's not true.
That is so sweet.
Yeah, that's great. That's nice stuff.
They feel just like Vito does.
Oh, remind me, too, of something about Weird Al for after the fact.
Okay. I will remind you.
Yeah. Look, Chris just did like this with his head. Like, I'm the Weird Al person.
Yeah.
Why are you talking to Gail? What was that look supposed to mean?
Just curious as to what it's about.
Well, it was something I thought about asking him about. That's all.
Okay.
Something you wouldn't understand.
Because I was going to give it to one of the town hallers. I'll tell you what it is if you want to know in the air. That thing that he did with the charity thing when they did the Yoda song. Did you ever see that?
No, I don't think
I'm
I
not
did.
going to show you during the show today.
Because I'll jack up my eye makeup.
Yeah, you'll jack yourself up fast. It's the sweetest thing ever.
Oh, no. I will watch it, though.
Yeah, it's adorable.
Maybe in the privacy of my own home.
I like to say privacy, but I'm from Downton, a little place called Downton. Is that show off the air yet?
It is, yes. The final season was this year.
They were all killed in a fire that
Pretty much.
ripped through the basement
That's
all
how
the way
they died.
upstairs.
And they're all dead, as is their way of life.
Have they ever killed off a show when they ended it?
The entire cast?
Yeah. I guess Lost could be thought of that way since they were
Yeah.
dead anyway. But it would just be really funny to have a bomb go off and blow up all the CSIs.
Fox had a primetime show called Dinosaurs, where the last episode was everyone died because of the Ice Age.
I remember that.
That's how dinosaurs ended? I never saw the last episode.
I thought you meant the actual dinosaurs. I was going to go, what kind of school did you go to that you
I
didn't
thought there was still dinosaurs.
Get me one.
Daddy, I want a dinosaur now.
All right, now, are you rich or cartoon rich when you talk that way?
Both.
You'd have to be a wealthy cartoon.
It was mostly based on the Pound Puppies character who was like, "Icky poo, Mama dearest." It was like one of the first impersonations I remember doing. Icky puppies.
I would agree that everybody's first impression is a cartoon.
Yeah.
Every child feels like they got one.
That, and there was also dinosaur related, Land Before Time. There was a character called Petrie, and I would do his voice, which just was like, "Ooh, mother present, very important." And that was like, I was obsessed with trying to nail the Petrie impression.
Now I'll say this: it wasn't the Land Before Time; it was the Land Before Recorded Time. That show was wrong.
Time as we know it. Man time.
This was sent. 6 Feet Under showed everyone's future deaths. I never watched a 6 Feet Under.
I didn't either.
I heard it was tremendous. I didn't want to watch a fucking show about a funeral parlor. I thought it would depress me. But they're doing a sequel to this show. It's called 6 Feet Over, and takes place in New Orleans, of course, where you can't bury people underground. It's about a mausoleum.
Sure. That's beautiful.
Oh, very beautiful.
Starring Marie Laveau, Voodoo Queen.
Of New Orleans, Marie, ro. She'll put a spell on you. When is someone going to try to get Redbone back together for the... I think they had that song, and then they had that song, "Hey, hey, what's the matter with the come and get your love." How's that a song? I feel like I could write songs if that's what songs are. Yeah, I'm not, I couldn't get myself out there for 6 Feet Under. Couldn't do it.
It was incredibly depressing.
People told me that no, it's not depressing.
No, it is.
It's funny and life affirming.
No, it's depressing. The mother character on that show is just heartbreaking. It's a really sad show. I mean, yeah, I guess there's funny moments, but overall, it's a sad show.
Now, the guy who did that show was so popular at one point, and they acted like he was the genius of TV, and then he came back with the vampire show,
Alan Ball,
and showed that he kind of wasn't the genius of TV. We had him on the show one time. For Baghead or Raghead or something like
Baghead.
that. Baghead?
Baghead.
Baguette.
We had a man eating baguettes. No, wait, I'm thinking of Lily.
I wish I had been there that day.
We ought to ask her back for bread time. Bread time with Lily.
Baghead, meet Baguette.
Oh, this is very funny that I bring up Lily. So they were doing a show. Her and Black Earl were doing a scope show, right, yesterday. And one of them was smoking a bunch of herb. So she started saying on the scope, "Call in." And you can't.
Come on.
So she's like, can Earl, can we just use your phone? Can I give your phone out, right? And then she's like, "No, absolutely not." So I'm watching this and I call. And when he answers the phone, I'm like, "Yeah, am I on the air?" Here's what I think. This is what their big question. They wanted to know if once you go black, you'll never go back. If that referred to male or females. The saying itself. I don't really thought it from a male point of view.
Right. You mean that the men is... If you're dating men and you date a black man, you'll never
go back.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think it was set up because I think dating black girls was always acceptable in white culture, you know?
Yeah. It was more unacceptable. It's more unacceptable, I think.
Well,
for
you know
women.
how we don't accept our daughters doing things that we accept our sons.
Yeah.
If your son's out there and he's a poon hound, the The parents like, our son can't keep his fucking dick dry. You know what I mean?
He comes by it honestly.
Yeah, he's like his dad, just fucking everything that moves. But no one feels that way about their daughter. No one's like, our daughter's the town slut.
I know.
Seriously, the number of trains that have been pulled on her, we ought to call her Penn Station.
Instead, they're just like, get upstairs and change.
And change everything about yourself. Hey. Here's East End Rob.
Hey, Ron, you were just talking about if a show were to end, it'd be interesting, like Lost, to have a nuclear bomb go off. In the late 80s, there was a sitcom for 1 year. I don't know if you remember. It's called Sledgehammer.
I don't.
Anyway, the show was committed to 1 year, and it ended with a nuclear bomb. He was a cop, and he accidentally detonated a nuclear bomb, and everything blew up. The screen went white. The only thing is, they renewed the show. So the next year it came on, and it says Sledgehammer, the early years.
Yeah, when we know it's going to end with a nuke going off, you can't feel too good about it. All right, thanks, bro.
Sledgehammer.
And why would they let a cop, just like a beat cop, around a nuke?
Well, maybe he found it. You know, maybe you want to go back and watch this on YouTube.
I will.
You know, like, how would this happen?
This is
Why would a
bullshit.
regular beat cop end up trying to defuse a nuke? That's what I mean. You know, it's fucking Warhead.
Here's Sledgehammer.
I don't even know any of the people in it.
That looks made up. Did you just Photoshop that right now?
Oh, now I get it. I had the lunchbox. I had the Sledgehammer lunchbox. Look how happy the black dude is.
He's loving it.
I think she is interested in
Yeah,
Sledgehammer.
She's like, oh, Sledgehammer.
Who played Sledge?
Hammer. Sledgehammer.
Sledgehammer looks like he didn't really take his job too seriously.
Is it Peter Gabriel? No wonder the world blew up. That fucking guy acted like an idiot.
David Richet.
How could there be somebody who had a fucking TV show that was big enough that they, you know, would be around in the 70s? Because there was only a couple of channels back then. You think everybody would have heard of it? What network was it on?
It was on
ABC. You just struggled saying ABC. You can't make out the last.
Hold on.
E? No.
Can't make out the last. Oh, that's a C. Okay. I love how they act like it stands for the American Broadcasting Company. No, it doesn't. It stands for ABC. You wanted ABC for yourself.
Whole thing's a sham.
Now you got Jimmy Kimmel.
They're doing okay for themselves.
Oh, yeah, they're doing fine. Doing okay. They don't have the Olympics. They got rid of Monday Night Football. I don't know what they have. Modern Family? Is that the only show they have?
That's about it.
I can't think of another show on ABC.
I'm not good with the knowing what shows.
I'm
are
excellent with that.
I know you are, and I know Chris is into it as well. You guys are always like, they're like always rattling off, like, what do you watch on this channel? I'm like, I don't know.
AMC girl? What's your problem?
I don't know. I don't know who has what.
Then how do you find your shows, Gail?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't. They get recorded for me by my partner.
Can I tell you something? It's not a manly thing to be able to record shows. This is something you should be able to handle yourself.
And you know, there's like the app that you can record stuff from home. Yeah. So sometimes I'll be home and text him, I don't understand this. Can you please make sure Game of Thrones is being recorded right now?
I'm an invalid.
I'll be in the kitchen.
Eating peanut butter with a spoon. Not cooking.
I meant cooking.
Oh. Hey, this icing, you don't even need cake for it. Seriously, never have icing is just as a treat for yourself. That's when it all starts to go downhill.
Kind of good.
Yeah. The fact that we gave that to our children. The Dunkaroo was just children eating straight icing. those dry cookies that you know that they didn't really eat.
But they're kangaroo shaped.
But there was just a little pot of icing that you gave children.
Delicious, man.
They were very popular when I was a child.
I had them.
It's just straight icing. Dunkaroos.
Don't even need the donuts. By the way, I'm coming in a cab. My cab driver sees a friend, so he's yelling to his friend who's driving a cab. They both rolled down their windows, and then the friend threw a small donut.
What?
To his buddy, who grabbed it and said thank you and started to eat it.
Was it Doug Benson?
That's the stupidest callback. All right, you get it. Gail gets it, and the 250 people who or whatever were at the show, they could get it. No one else does.
Very inside, Chris.
Yeah, we did a show, and Doug was throwing donuts to people. Oh, okay. Here's Kirk. Kirk, what's up?
Hey, that Sledgehammer show was kind of out in the era of Airplane, and it was a slapstick show, so it didn't take itself too seriously. Wondering why there was a Duke.
So it makes total sense.
This blows. Glad it got canceled.
No,
Yeah,
that's
they had
not the
a-
part
No,
we're
that's
talking
not-
about. That's why they didn't give a shit that the world blew up. It was a joke blowing up.
And then they could return and say the early years, and it'd be funny because it's on purpose. It's aware.
It was really about Sledgehammer more than the apocalypse. The impending apocalypse that we're all still waiting for.
Oh, boy.
I have just taken the Earth clock and moved it 3 minutes ahead
What? Why would you do that?
to freak people out and to also end up in the headline of every newspaper in God's known world. Well, what are you going to do?
I don't know what to do.
We got Josh Gad coming up a couple of minutes. Are we going to break first before him or after, Chris?
We should break first.
You realize that we broke just not too long ago, right?
I understand.
What is your job?
To make sure all the breaks happen correctly to produce.
Do you feel like you did it today?
Today got a little backed up.
Now, do you think that Sirius XM owes you a paycheck after the way you behaved today?
At least a partial paycheck.
You should forfeit this paycheck out of respect.
I'm going to text Don.
I need this paycheck.
Let the docking begin. Guess what? Another docking concert took place today.
No!
Dock that motherfucker! It doesn't do any of his fucking work! There's a commercial inside a commercial! And then E-Rock's in here with his nieces! Thinking about to be a sleazy movie star! Who's next? Ron Jeremy? Is that it? Meet me tomorrow night. F is for family. Jack White's record store. All right, so we will break first. And Josh Gad will be with us. He's such a great guy, and he's got the Angry Bites. It's called Angry Bites.
Pronounced bites?
I never played it. Did you guys ever play it on your phone?
Yeah, I played some Angry Boys.
I've played it.
Only thing I ever play on my phone is calling my dad. And that's kind of a suicidal game that I have. I don't know how it's going to work out. I'll just like make up a short list. Let's see. Phillies doing well. Trump. Hey, at least we know he's not Hillary. Garden. And yes, I will barbecue when I come down. All right, so let's take that break now, and when we come back, a guy who's just quite frankly has gotten to do so many fun, cool things over the years. He did that. The last cartoon he did turned out to be like the biggest cartoon of all
Frozen.
time. Yeah. The snow never bothered me anyway. I'll try to impress him with that. Right back with Josh Gad Bennington. Josh Gad is in with us. You could hear him playing the music as he walks through the room. Angry Birds comes out this Friday. May 20th, and it's in theaters everywhere. Good to see you again, buddy.
It's so good to see you guys.
How's everything going?
Everything's great. Promoting this movie, really excited about it. Getting ready to start shooting another movie, really excited about that. Life is good.
Life has been good for you for a while, though, right?
It has. There was like a bad week, but it's been good generally. Yeah, like this is an off week, but in general, it's been great. I love what I do, and I love that I get to play in all different sort of styles of film, and get to do everything from Broadway to TV to film to talk radio. This is the next step. This is the next step.
Yeah. Well, when you're in Angry Birds and Sean Penn is in it, I'm like, that's perfect.
Well, when you think comedy, you think Sean Penn. Actually, you know what, though? But, we forget. That's Spicoli. That's Spicoli. And, I know that people have been clamoring for a Blake Shelton, Sean Penn vehicle for years. And we finally deliver on that promise.
Yeah. I've always thought that Sean had righteous anger, though. You know what I mean? Like, the right kind of anger.
He does have the right kind of anger.
Yeah.
I dig it. I get you, Sean. I know what you're trying to defend what you believe in, and I get it.
The world needs more Sean Penn.
He does. And by the way, here's a cool part. I know Sean's listening to this interview today.
He always does.
He always tunes in.
By the way, I rank the Penn brothers right now. Sean, always Chris, and then Michael Penn, the great singer. So very, very, very talented family.
Has that rating ever shifted?
No, not.
Have you ever placed any of them above Sean?
Well, you know what the thing is?
They're all talented.
Yeah, sometimes I would pop Chris up to the top, and if Michael does anything with his wife Amy Mann, there could be some movement.
Right. Oh, his wife's Amy?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they're amazing together.
Wow, the more you know.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Well, this is as good. They perform at Largo all the time when you're in. In L.A.
I love Largo.
But the other thing I like about Sean is that you'll just find out he's in Haiti building a well.
I know.
Or something.
He really there are a lot of actors or a lot of celebrities who kind of talk the talk but don't walk the walk.
Yeah.
Sean literally does it all. I mean, he gives up his life to go help others.
And then also will take a paparazzi camera and chuck it into the woods, which is always fun.
Is what we all want to do. At some point in our lives.
Are they as bad as they used to be?
By the way, I love how this interview has become a Sean Penn retrospective. It's I didn't expect that to happen when I walked in, but I'm glad that this is the direction it's taken.
Interviews go.
Yes.
We always start with a little light Sean Penn talk.
And then move on from there.
Yeah, even if Sylvester Stallone's in.
Yeah.
Say, let's rank
what
Sean
are you talking
Penn's
about? I don't even know the guy that well. What was your question?
I have no idea.
Okay, that's
I'm just happy to see you.
I'm happy to see you.
Speaking of righteous anger, the last time that I talked to you, there was some talk about you playing a certain comedian.
Lil Kinnison?
And is that still
trying to get the script right? Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to do it unless the script is perfect. Sam is too important a figure to me. And to a lot of other people out there that and the script's getting there. And I think with the cool element of the film, if we have the opportunity to make it, it juxtaposes Sam the preacher to Sam the comedian, right? And that righteous indignation is sort of what led to his contempt, his form of comedy through contempt. And I sort of love this railing against the rise of televangelism in trying to take back that which he believed in. I mean, he was a son of a preacher. He was a preacher himself. His brother was a preacher. So it's he railed against what he saw as the hijacking of his beliefs.
Right.
And that's the essence of the movie. So I think it's all there. I just think that it's about really digging deep into it.
I always thought that it was great that he kept.
You got a Kinnison vibe going on.
Yeah, I always have. And I met Sam. I always thought he was great. But what I always dug about him is that he kept that preacher angle even when he was on stage.
Right.
So no matter what he was having, he kept that.
That's
going,
right.
And
towards the end of his life, he actually started preaching again, legitimately preaching again. And I think the most fascinating part about his whole life, and who knows if this is real or not, is, Sam was in a pretty severe car accident as a kid, 5 years old, which by some accounts made him Sam Kinnison. It shook him up quite literally, where it just kind of triggered that sort of loud, Sam vibe. And then the end of his life, obviously, coming full circle, he was hit by a drunk driver, and he got out of the car, according to accounts. Do you know this story?
Yeah, I know Carl, who was with him.
Yeah, he got out of the car, and apparently he said something to the extent of, "I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready." And then he just kind of stared at it and he said, "Okay." And he died.
Yeah.
And I just think that there's something so profound and beautiful about that. And I don't know. It's really cool.
Yeah, I talked to Carl LeBeau, who was the guy, his best friend, and was holding on to him at the time. And he actually said that it looked like Sam was looking through him or past him.
Yeah.
It's really, really...
It's amazing.
It's an incredible thing, and, but I would love for young people to be able to know more about that, because
and they don't, a lot of, I've noticed that, like, a lot of people, even my age, don't know a lot of these great sort of comedians of that time.
Yeah.
I grew up watching him because my brothers were such big fans. And then I remember seeing Back to School and just being like, what is this? Like, this is incredible.
Yeah.
And I would love the opportunity to remind people. It's even like people have forgotten about Richard Pryor. Like,
sure.
There are like a lot of kids out there who don't know Richard Pryor, who think, they think comedy is the great comedians of now,
Sure.
like Schumer and Sarah and Louis, and they should. But I think it's also good to see where it all starts from.
Yeah, I mean, we do that with music. If you talk to kids, they know the Doors like the Doors came out yesterday.
Yeah.
But there's something about stand-up comedy.
Although there was that great story about when not Kanye, who was it that teamed up with Paul McCartney? Was it Kanye?
Yeah, I think somebody like that. What was happening on Twitter?
Right, and like everybody was like, it's really cool of them to give this guy Paul McCartney a break, but like people legitimately didn't know who Paul McCartney was, and that made me so depressed. It's like, oh God.
But the way that it's, I think, different than the Doors, if you're looking at Kinnison versus the Doors, is that comedy tends to age in a way that is entirely different than music, because you're going off of social issues, topics, things that are in the moment. So sometimes I think it's hard for people to step back and go, I respect why that was funny at that time.
Well, what's even actually cooler is I'll listen to like XM comedy stations all the time, and some of those comics were so much ballsier than you could ever get away with now.
Yeah.
Stuff think about just Richard Pryor and SNL. You could never get away with that set on TV now.
Yeah.
You just couldn't. So I feel like, in a way, like, because of PC sort of mentality, we've gone backwards a little bit. And so it's kind of shocking when you hear some of the things.
Well, do you feel that has even affected movies when you are, looking at a script? Do they go, this is funny, but we could lose a portion of the art? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think that there's a lot of that. I think that there's so many things you need to take into consideration. Being a public figure on Twitter is such a dangerous trap. Like, you got to look at your tweet 5 times before you send it out, because you're bound to offend like 10% of your audience. And it's just like, ugh.
Well, what's even worse is when it's not your audience, when it's some other people,
trolls,
who, they get a hold of it. They then attack whatever corporate business that you're doing. So a lot of people can't do commercials because they said something on Twitter, and that there's almost a witch hunt that comes up from time to time.
There is a witch hunt. I think that I think something's got to happen. I think that at some point we're going to hit this threshold where it's going to be like, social media is becoming so negative, and it's just so, like, it's a platform for stupidity, hatred, and bigotry lately.
Yeah.
And I think that at some point we just need to kind of look in the mirror and go, is this really what's best? And I love Twitter. I think Twitter's amazing, but I just think that, and they've been getting better lately. Like, you can block, and you can shut idiots up. You can report people, but there's just so much of that awful trolling going on that it's terrible.
Josh Gad is in with us. Angry Birds comes out this Friday, May 20th, in theaters, and we're talking about that kind of righteous anger that we need in this country now to make some changes.
Yeah.
You've got a ton of great people in this movie, though.
Yeah, we do. It's a pretty ridiculous cast.
And when you get the offer to do this, do you know that this is going to be the cast, or do you find out as you go along?
No, I knew, and that was a big part of the reason. I wasn't really looking to do another animated movie after Frozen, and I sort of was like, been there, done that, had fun, and the cast was pretty much assembled when I signed on, and I'm like, how do I turn down the opportunity to work with, like, you know, some of my favorites, Sudeikis, Hader, McBride, people that I've known for years and had relationship with, but we've actually never worked with, or, you know, people like Jason and, you know, Peter Dinklage I have worked with, but just having another opportunity to play with them again.
You know, Maya Rudolph's in this, and she's doing a variety show.
Yeah.
This year with Marty Short. And that's the one thing that I would love to really see that gain a little heat, you know, because a lot of times we're watching amateurs sing and dance, you know?
True. It's true. And I think we're ripe for the return of like variety. And by the way, if you saw Marty and she on the SNL 40th,
yeah,
like they stole that show. They were so funny together. I can't wait. And she asked me to come and play with them, and I'm going to try to do it. It's, you know, I just think that they're so immensely talented, those two.
You know, Marty Short has been stealing things for like 35 years now. Like, if you go back to the earliest stuff he's ever done, but you know, when he was like the early SCTV stuff and all, brilliant. Always brilliant.
But I think the variety show is such a good idea to have this come back, because it's an old idea, but it kind of works perfectly with the way things are. It's over the top, it's big, and then it's like these little vignettes or little snippets.
Yeah.
Like
it's
almost
truly show business,
Yeah.
right? It's the earliest form of show business that we probably have in America. You know, vaudeville was a variety show. And the Ed Sullivan Show is the way people saw the Beatles introduced. But what's great is that you would have had to sit through like a guy twirling, you know, plates before you got to see the Beatles. I find that stuff hilarious.
It's crazy.
You know?
Going back and watching like the Beatles on Ed Sullivan.
Yeah.
It really is weird because things are just so different now.
Yeah.
And there was like almost like a talent show quality to like a lot of that stuff.
Yeah. And it was also A Star Is Born. Like you could go on that show and then the next day you're a star. But it's always amazing to me now is how quickly we grind through stuff, right? Everyone will act like, Fargo's the greatest show, and then it's gone, and Louis puts out something brilliant, but then that's gone a day later.
Right.
You don't have that lasting thing.
There's also just too much content, especially like when you're talking about TV. I find it like I'm exhausted. I can't possibly watch every show that everybody tells me to watch. And I want to so desperately.
Right.
But like, if it's not Game of Thrones, I'm going to have to play catch up on a lot of stuff.
Yeah. You ever have people just get furious because you're not watching their show?
Oh,
They're demanding.
Constantly.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Like, people will get offended.
Yeah.
What do you mean you haven't seen it? I have 2 children. I'm a working man. I mean, I haven't seen it. There's a very good excuse.
Kids, I'm catching up with The Wire. I can't be part of this.
Amazing show.
But you're a Game of Thrones guy, Gail. You're Game of Thrones.
I am.
Chris is. And that is something people get mad at me because I don't watch it.
Shame on you.
Yeah. Well, dragons. Is this something about dragons I can't...
My wife is the same way. She just sees she sees me watching and she's like, I'll be in the room. I'm in the other room watching Veep. And I'm like, here's the thing. I get it if you're not a fantasy person, you think that, but it's so much more than that. Like, it's addictive. It's addictive.
I hear it from everybody.
The other show that I became obsessed with this season was Narcos. Narcos and Bloodline. Like, amazing show.
See, there's 2 I haven't seen. I can't keep up.
Good.
I'm in my own kind of weird place because that what is it? Is it House of Lies? Yeah, House of Lies. They're ending it. Yeah, canceled. And I'm like, that's the part of my Sunday night.
I know.
I need
my friend Kristen Bell. I know, but she's
She's fantastic, man. And that she's somebody that you were talking about your career, being able to walk into different things. She's the same way. It's a drama. It's a silly comedy. There's so many people.
She's amazing, and she's just one of the sweetest human beings, like one of the most real people you'll ever meet.
Right. And in a really cool marriage and everything.
Amazing.
Just seems.
And people are just in love with them.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
it's like- they're like, have you seen their latest video? Like, people adore them.
That sloth video that they posted years ago just is still one of the cutest things I've ever seen.
Well, I remember the first time I saw him, I didn't know that he was an actor doing it. I thought he was like a lunatic when he was doing that prank show.
Punked.
Yeah, when the first year they did Punked, I'm like, this guy is just a maniac. And I had no idea.
Do you know that was the first big show I ever auditioned for?
Is that right?
Punked. And I still hold it over Ashton Kutcher's head that he didn't cast me on it, because they like brought me back like 3 times and made me do the most awful stuff to like prove my worthiness as an asshole, basically. And I was like, oh, really? Like, what do I need to do? Kill a person to get on the show?
Was it, did you cringe a little bit while you were doing this?
Oh, yeah. Like, it was kind of awful. And that year, Bill Hader got the job.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, I can't blame him. That's okay.
Well, Hader is.
People forget that he was on Punked.
I had, and I've done like an hour with him, and his career just spreads out.
Crazy.
Yeah. Just
talk about eclectic.
Yeah, spreads out. But this is one of the interesting things about Bill. He has to battle like an anxiety thing before each performance. And I'm like, if I had your talent, I would never be anxious
I'm
about
that way
anything.
too, though.
Are you?
I'm that way too.
Yeah.
Every night before I went on stage for like Book of Mormon, I would get like sick. Like I just like, it doesn't matter how many times you do it, but it's a good thing because it sort of keeps you. It keeps your adrenaline just firing at all cylinders. And then you go out there and it's like, this is where I belong.
Well, that's the funny thing about show business is that you get something and you're so excited. And then the closer it comes to happening, the less good you feel about it.
Yeah.
And then when you're done, it's more of like a wonderful relief. Yeah.
That's true.
It's like you got the shot, but it just kind of grazed your ear, and that's it. And you now look
really
at
true,
actually. Now you look at life from a whole different way.
It's 100% accurate.
Angry Birds out this weekend, this Friday, May 20th, theaters everywhere. Jason Sudeikis is in it. Danny McBride, who's one of the funniest people ever. Bill Hader, Peter Dinklage, the always funny Sean Penn, Kate McKinnon, Tony Hale, who is our buddy and we just love. Kate has that Ghostbusters reboot happening this year. And Paul Feig invited me up to see that. I don't know why. If I was in because I always like small movies,
right?
But being on that set,
right,
was one of the biggest adrenaline rushes I've ever had. When you get to do those big movies, it's just a totally different scene, huh?
It's a totally different thing. I mean, I just shot Beauty and the Beast this summer, and what was so spectacular about that is like my daughters came to London for the shoot, and so they were walking through these giant reproductions of like the Beast's castle and like the enchanted forest, and they're just like, what is this? And to see it through their eyes is even cooler. Because like I brought her to the set of The Wedding Ringer, and it elicited a far different response. She's like, "Daddy, why are we on this really weird street in downtown LA? Can we go home?"
Well, you see the talent that goes into that it's
production designers, that whole like the crew that makes that happen.
It's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable. Same with animation. Like people just sort of take for granted that it's there and that it's like, but we record this stuff 3 years before. And then when we see it, we're just like, wow, where did all this come? Like it takes hundreds and hundreds of people and man hours, and you're just like working around the clock to make sure you make the date. And it really is the production design of these movies it's immense.
And it's crazy to think like the tremendous amount of detail that maybe a viewer might just like brush over and be like, yeah, that's the world. I'll just
take for granted.
Yeah, they actually do stuff that only the actors would know about. So they're literally putting, like, if you see a desk, there's stuff in there that character could use.
Yeah.
And nobody else will see it, but the actor knows.
Yeah. The movie that you sort of can't take for granted, I don't know if you guys have seen it or not, but Jungle Book just was one of those movies where I watched it and I'm like, I Like my daughter looked at me and she's like, "Daddy, are those animals really talking?" And I couldn't give her a definitive response.
Yeah.
It was like they could be.
Yeah.
They could be, sweetie. John Favreau could have like taught them English, and I couldn't be able to tell you.
I hear in Cannes that Spielberg's new movie, they said not since E.T. They said that it was the way E.T. freaked people out in '82. The new movie is that way. And that, to me, that's the Spielberg that I love. You know, the one who's not the responsible adult filmmaker, but the other guy.
E.T. it's truly a perfect film. I brought my daughter to see it at the Hollywood Bowl for the first time. And what was so fascinating is, as a kid watching it, she went through all of Elliot's responses with it.
Right.
So she was scared when he first arrived. She was excited and tickled when he got to know her, and then she was sad and then she was relieved, but also again like bittersweetly. And it was just so amazing that Spielberg just was able to capture, and is still able to capture, that like perfect tone in these films that adults and children alike. I'm really excited about Ready Player One because it's one of my favorite books ever, so I can't wait to see what he does with that too.
Angry Birds this weekend. Always great to see you, man.
Thank you.
And you came in joking about talk radio, but you could do this in a heartbeat. This would be very easy. Yeah.
Jason Schwartzman got his own show now. What's going on?
Yeah. All right. Angry Birds comes out this Friday, May 20th, in theaters everywhere. AngryBirds.com. Great to see you again, buddy.
Thank you. You too.
See you next time.
For having me on.
Ladies and gentlemen, the evening is over. We hope you all enjoyed yourselves, and we'll see you all again in 1974. Good evening!